In life, there are things your eyes can see, but they don't truly exist. Yet my camera could bring those very things into reality. This is the story of Clara, a 30-year-old woman whose life was haunted by emptiness and fading memories. Her childhood was once full of colors, laughter, and warmth, but now those moments existed only as blurred fragments in her mind. She often sat alone on the rooftop of her old house, desperately trying to relive the past, but all she could feel was silence. Photography was her profession, yet no photograph she ever captured could fill the hollow inside her. One evening, while exploring her grandmother's old trunk, Clara discovered a peculiar wooden camera. Unlike any modern device, it had no battery or memory card, only a shining round lens carved with strange patterns. Beside it lay a small notebook in her grandmother's delicate handwriting, almost as if it were waiting for Clara to find it. Curiosity pulled Clara closer to the strange object. She held the wooden camera to her eye and absent-mindedly aimed it at the withered plants on her rooftop. With a soft click, a sudden shimmer of light flashed through the lens. Startled, she looked again, and the scene had changed. The same dead plants now appeared lush, green, and alive, their leaves swaying gently as if a hidden breeze touched them, though the air around her was completely still. Clara's breath caught in her throat. Was it a trick of her mind? She quickly placed the camera back into the trunk, convincing herself she was simply tired. But that night, she couldn't sleep. The vision of those revived plants kept replaying in her thoughts, whispering that this camera hid a secret powerful enough to change her life forever. At dawn, Clara could no longer resist. She rushed back to the trunk, pulled out the camera, and stepped into the quiet street outside her home. Raising it to her eye, she clicked toward the familiar road where cars and people usually filled the morning. But through the lens, everything was different. The street was empty, silent, as though she had slipped into another time. Her heart pounded as she spotted a wooden bench at the roadside. An elderly man sat there reading a newspaper, and beside him was a little girl. The sight felt strangely familiar. She lowered the camera for a moment, and instantly the street returned to normal, cars honking, people walking, the bench completely empty. Trembling, she lifted the camera again, and there they were. The old man and the girl had returned. With a gasp, Clara recognized them. The man was her grandfather, and the little girl was none other than herself. Tears welled in her eyes. The camera wasn't just capturing images, it was awakening her forgotten memories, bringing her face to face with her own past. Shaken but fascinated, Clara hurried back home and opened the small notebook that had come with the camera. On the very first page, her grandmother's handwriting stared back at her. "Clara, this camera holds the power to revive moments long gone, but remember, it only reveals memories tied to your true happiness. If you ever capture a memory of sorrow, the consequences will be dangerous." Clara read the warning, but her longing to relive the past was far stronger than her caution. She began taking the camera everywhere: her old school, her childhood home, the parks where she once laughed with friends. Each photograph opened a window into her past. Her parents laughing together, her best friend Amna running beside her after class, her own younger self smiling carelessly. Yet, no matter how vivid the memories appeared, Clara realized she was never a participant, only a silent observer. With each glimpse, she drifted further away from her present, consumed by nostalgia, her heart aching with both joy and loss. Soon, Clara's obsession grew uncontrollable. Day and night, she locked herself in her room, chasing fragments of her vanished world. Her parents pleaded with her, but their words couldn't reach beyond the pull of the camera. One night, unable to resist, Clara pointed the lens at the darkest chapter of her life, the day her grandmother passed away. A violent flash erupted, and suddenly she was inside that sorrowful memory. She saw her grandmother lying still, her parents weeping beside the bed. Clara cried out, calling for her, but no one could hear. The walls trembled, thunder roared, and she realized the warning had come true. Then, through the chaos, she heard her grandmother's voice. "Clara, some memories are meant to remain in the heart. Leave this camera where it belongs." Desperate, Clara hurled the wooden camera to the ground. It shattered, releasing a blinding light that pulled her back into reality. She found herself safe in her room, her parents at her side. In her trembling hands lay the broken pieces of the camera and the notebook's final page, which read, "Daughter, in chasing the past, you risk losing the present. Cherish your memories, but live forward." With tears in her eyes, Clara embraced her parents and vowed to begin anew. She locked the broken relic away and lifted her modern camera instead, ready at last to capture not the ghosts of yesterday, but the promise of tomorrow.